Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today, we're going to review the Mini Focus MF0473G03. Man, is that a mouthful. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing a Pagani Design PD 1773, and Grego's wearing my Corjo 2010. Grego is watching The Witcher, and I asked him who he had a bigger crush on, Ciri or Yennefer. He said Fringilla. I said, Fringilla, really? He said, yeah, he better like her, otherwise she might stab him in the eye. All right, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this box. It says Mini Focus on the box. Then we have the watch on the pillow. And we have the instructions and a hang tag, and that's it. Don't need a sizing tool because this is a silicone strap. But here is the watch. I've done quite a few Richard Mille homages recently, so I decided to check out this Mini Focus. Mini Focus makes a ton of watches of all types, so you would think I have had more on my channel than the few that I have. Although this Mini Focus is clearly inspired by Richard Mille, the case shape and design is significantly different. It is close enough where you automatically think Richard Mille, but is not a direct copy. There are 5 different colorways, and instead of telling you about them, I will just show you a picture. I chose the orange because it was a bit different and stood out. My next choice would have been the black two-tone and maybe the all black. I am not a big fan of either the red or the blue, as the colors just seem drab and uninspiring. If you don't want a box, then you can save $1. In hindsight, I'd rather have $1 than the box that came in. The watch is 45 millimeters wide, 52.1 millimeters lug to lug. It's 16.6 millimeters thick, has a 22 millimeter lug width, and it does have lugs, unlike most of these Richard Mille homages that do not. And weighs 106 grams on the supplied silicone strap. This one actually has a bezel, unlike most Richard Mille homages do not, and it goes around the crystal. And then we have the dial. The dial is pretty nice looking. I like it. It does have a sunburst effect. And they try to make it look like it's mechanical, but it's not. This is a quartz watch. And then we have the chapter ring that goes around. That lines up with the crystal and the bezel. And we do have indices. Little dots here. And they are lumed. And then we have the skeleton hands with lume tips. And then we have the second hand with the lume tip. And then we have the 3 subdials. The 3 subdials have hands. They're round, but they have a hand marker on them. See, they look like a little, they look like gears, but they have a red tip to show you where what it's pointing to. And then we have a date at the 4:30. Actually, it's more like the 4. The top subdial is the subseconds. The bottom subdial is a small second chrono hand. And the left is the chrono minute counter. Let me get these hands out of the way, and I will show you the chronograph in action. Just press the top pusher, and the second starts ticking, and the sub-second starts spinning. And this is a 1/10 of a second, and it goes around twice a second. And that's why you see the counters repeat. And of course, press the bottom pusher to reset it. And it's a quartz, not a mecha quartz, so it's a fast rewind and not an instant snapback. Then we have an unsigned push-pull crown. You only get 30 meters of water resistance, so you don't get a screw-down crown. You wouldn't want one anyway. The crown, you can actually pull it. I had difficulty with the major Richard Mille homage not being able to pull the crown. Well, this one I can. Crown action is a little loose though, and then when you go to set it, well, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. But sometimes you get that annoying minute hand jump. See, it did it then. But if you hold it, you can sometimes get it to set without it going. And then we have a mineral glass crystal. It follows the shape of the case. I guess you would call it domed, even though it's kind of flat. I guess it's more curved than domed. And then we have the case. Once again, the case, it's similar to a Richard Mille, but doesn't look like a Richard Mille. It doesn't have the screws on the side that go down. And it's just a different, it's similar, but not the same as the Richard Mille case. And of course, it's coated. And it's a coated alloy. This is not steel. You're not going to get steel on a watch in this price. Then we have a steel brush Caseback. Says stainless steel back, which is an indication that the rest of it is not. It just says 3 ATM water resistance, so you just get the bare minimum. And then it says made in the PRC, that's the People's Republic of China. And it's held down by 4 little tiny Phillips head screws. So that's what you're going to have to do if you have to change the battery. Underneath the Caseback, I don't know what the movement is. It's got a small second and a sub-second counter. So that's all you really need to know. I'm not about to take these 4 tiny screws out just to look at the movement, because it's probably not going to tell me anyway. Then we have the silicone strap. And once again, unlike most Richard Mille homages, this one's held on with traditional spring bars. So it's a 22 millimeter, so you could actually put a different strap on this, unlike most Richard Mille homages. So if you wanted to put it on some leather, or you could even put it on a NATO, whatever you want. It has a nice buckle. It's signed. The prong's good. And it has 2 keepers, and it has little nibs to keep the first keeper in place. And it's got plenty of holes for sweat. It's a soft silicone. It's slick. It's a little mushy. I've felt better silicone, but it's not horrible. Here is the watch at my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks nice. It's big. It's chunky, but all Richard Mille homages are big and chunky. That's just the reality of the watch. And look at that, though. I have 5 notches left, and 4 going in the other direction. So you can wear this if you have a big wrist or a small wrist. So yeah, plenty of notches. Here we are in the Lume room. Most watches in this price range will have Lume that is so bad it makes you wonder why even bother. So let's see if this Mini Focus should have even bothered. As we speed up the time, we see that even though there isn't a lot of Lume, it is actually better than I expected. By no means good Lume, but at least it was worth them bothering about it. So not too bad considering the price of this watch. What do I like about this watch? Well, it has a sub-second dial, so that makes the chronograph actually useful. It has proper lugs, so you can actually change straps if you want. The Lume is actually usable, if not great. And the strap is plenty long, so it'll fit big wrists. What are my gripes and groans? Annoying minute hand jump when you go to set it. That's about my only real complaint. Do I recommend this watch? Sure. For the under $20 you're going to spend on this, it's not a bad watch at all. It seems to have its own identity from a Richard Mille, but looks close enough. So yeah, I recommend this watch. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Mini Focus MF0473G03, and I will be back with an unboxing video. I have 3 watches from AliExpress that just came in, so that's going to be a really good one. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.